anybody hear anything?
No.
Yeah, no, maybe?
Your voice.
We can hear you. A little.
A little. Can you hear me now? Now?
Yeah.
How's this?
Good.
Oh, good.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Mackin.
And Harry, you may want to hang around here because I'm going to put Harry on the spot. He's been asking me for a couple of months, maybe even 2 years now, to sing my very renowned...
I can think of a lot of things. I'm not sure where this is going.
Who's the guy that sang MacArthur's part? Or who wrote, Jimmy Webb.
Jimmy
So
Webb.
Harry's been asking me to do my Jimmy Webb medley. I don't like to do it for a whole bunch of reasons. What are you laughing at? So I want to get Harry off my back, which means we're going to do it. We're going to get it over with. Unfortunately, it takes about 45 minutes. So, but we'll have an intermission halfway through it, if that's okay. When we get up to the cake part in MacArthur Park, the cake, everybody knows that part? I'm going to ask everyone to stand up, okay? And then Harry's going to join me on stage. And then, you know the part where it says, I don't think that I can make it. At that point, I want everybody to yell out, yes, Harry, you can. And then what I'm going to do is toss Harry off the stage, and everybody will grab him. And as we end the medley, let's walk outside, turn left, go about 200 yards down. There's a cornfield, and let's drop Harry off right there so we can get rid of this medley once and for all. All right, now to get a little more serious. Has anyone heard the name Bobby Troup?
Yes.
Yes?
MASH.
Nash?
That's what I remember him from. But he wrote a lot of songs. I know.
Yes, he was in MASH. That's very good, Harry. He was in a lot of different shows. He was in Emergency, Perry Mason, Dragnet, a long list of TV shows and whatnot. In fact, Dragnet, which had Jack Webb in it, his wife, Jack Webb's wife was Julie London, and when Jack Webb and Julie London split up, Bobby Troup picked up on that and married Julie London, and then produced her very famous album from 1956 where she sings Daddy, you know, you can buy me a diamond ring, blah, blah, all that stuff and whatnot. And then the following year, he writes another really, really trashy song called The Girl Can't Help It. This is a really bad movie. I don't recommend watching it or anything. But it's got a little footnote to history. Both John Lennon and Paul McCartney separately tell a story about how the two of them snuck into a movie theater in London to watch the movie The Girl Can't Help It, which again, the title song was written by Bobby Troup. And they wanted to sneak into the movie because the title song was sung by Little Richard, and they were great fans of Little Richard. Bobby Troup wrote a whole bunch of songs. I won't go into much of that, but probably the one that is probably most well known is the one that goes, now you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, Oklahoma City is mighty pretty. Get your kicks on Route 66. That's the song that he wrote, and that introduced Nat King Cole to the popular world and whatnot. Bobby Troup, that's the name. When I first saw his name in conjunction with a couple of different songs, I said, boy, I recognize that name. I recognize Colonel Robert Troup from the Revolutionary War. And indeed, I found out that is his ancestor. He's a direct descendant of Colonel Robert Troup. In the state of New York, there's a Troopsburg on the kind of near the Pennsylvania border, way far west by Jamestown, Allegheny State Forest. He owned the property and it got named after him. Up around Rochester, there's a town called Charlotte that's named after his daughter. There too, he had property and whatnot. Probably the most interesting thing about him historically is when he was in college at King's College, which after the Revolutionary War got rechartered as Columbia University, but when he was in college, his roommate's portrait eventually got on the $10 bill. He was Alexander Hamilton's roommate in college. So his direct descendant is this Bobby Troup. So This is a long-winded story by which I get you up to the song that I'm going to sing. It's called Their Hearts Were Full of Spring. And it was a minor hit for a group called the Four Freshmen around 1954-55. They do a very sophisticated jazz harmony version of it, which obviously I can't do with one voice. The song, the recording itself had a tremendous impact on Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. And in fact, if you go to a Beach Boy concert, there's like a 75% chance that they'll actually sing this song. So I'm not going to do it justice, but if you remember when you go home, listen to Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, either by the Four Freshmen or the Beach Boys, and you'll see what how they do a wonderful job with the complex jazz harmonies. So, it's a real simple song. Here it goes. And I'm going to dedicate this to my adorable wife. Janet, this is for you. There's a story told of a very gentle boy and a girl who wore his ring. Through the wintry snow, the world they knew was one, for their hearts were full of spring. As the days grew old and the nights turned into time, and the weeks and years took wind, gentle boy, tender girl, the love they knew was one, for their hearts were full of spring. Then one day they died, and their graves were side by side on a hill where robins sing. And they say violets grew ere the whole world known, for their hearts were full of spring. Thank you very much.